Hello, I'm O Speaks, also known as O Tatum Speaks. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share, because why not? So today I'm going to cover something. There was a time when I was coming up where people actually worked really hard to get their positions within whatever organizations they went to work for. So I don't care if it was McDonald's. If you wanted to be a manager or a supervisor, you would work really hard to get to that point. We've lost that somewhere in the last generation. It just seems like people aren't working for the same reasons, and it seems like a lot of employers are actually begging people to come work for them, which means there may be an employee shortage. Either way, I wanted to go over this video because I thought it was a really interesting look at the mindset of not the younger kids, but the ones right behind me. It's fascinating to watch, and of course, there's an agenda in it. But yeah, let's watch this.
Down a second interview for a position because I shared that I am part of the LGBT plus community and I need to find a workplace that is LGBT plus friendly.
All right. As an employer, um, you're interviewing somebody. There is absolutely no reason, no circumstance that I can think of where it's okay to tell the person interviewing you or anybody who you like to have sex with or who you prefer to have sex with. That's what we're hearing here. This person just decided I'm going to announce to my hopefully future boss in a second interview who I prefer to have sex with. That's wild, to say the least. I think it's whoever the employer was dodged a bullet because there could be no bigger HR nightmare, in my opinion, than somebody who hasn't even started yet, hasn't even gone through orientation yet, talking about sex. This already is wild.
I could tell immediately as soon as I brought it up to her. I was like, this is a big part of my identity. It's something that I'm not going to hide about myself, so I need to find a workplace that is LGBT plus friendly.
Again, you're talking about your sexual preference. I understand that's who you are and all of that, but no one cares. And the fact that you went to a new employer and thought it was weird that the person responded to the way that they did is narcissistic. I mean, extremely narcissistic. Yes, they reacted awkwardly because it's got to be uncomfortable because it's, again, already an HR nightmare. Before you go through any more of the hiring process, you're already saying inappropriate things. Just imagine this. You're interviewing or you're being interviewed for a job. And the person interviewing you says, hey, by the way, my sexual preference is A, B, or C. Not appropriate, is it? You don't know the person. You have no idea where it's coming from or why. That's the same thing as this person on the other end of the desk, on the other side of the desk, saying, hey, by the way, I have a sexual preference towards women. This person's ego and narcissism is out of control. And I find it fascinating that they would post this as if they're making a good point. It says turn down uncomfortable positions. You can do that, but you don't have to make pronouncements to somebody who hasn't even hired you yet about your sexual preferences. Weird.
And I could see the smile immediately fade from her face, and I was like, ah, shit. We did it. I was like, damn, fuck. I really showed that part of myself, and you do not want me to work for you anymore. I get it. That's the thing, though. Conservatives or moderates just want you to not talk about it so they don't get uncomfortable.
No, they don't want you to talk about it because they don't care and it's inappropriate in the workplace. And there are literal workplace harassment videos that revolve around not talking about stuff like this, not discriminating, not making fun of or anything like that. But you're the one who brought it up. You're looking for a response. Why else would anyone not like what I like? Why would anyone not approve of me? I'm me. You have to take me how I come. Or I'm not hiring this person. This person is insane. They're already talking about sexual preferences, and I haven't even finished an interview. I don't know how this person made it past the first interview. And if it were a big deal, as this person's pretending that it is, then why didn't you bring it up in the first interview? I don't understand it. But hey, let's continue.
I am not going to be in a workplace where I'm going to spend 40, possibly even 50 hours of my week and not talk about my personal life. And
Again, there are literal videos that instruct you at every company not to do what this person is saying what they're going to do. Matter of fact, this person finds it. They say it's mandatory to do it. I'm going to talk about my personal life, including the sex that I have. And the fact that this person, and I keep saying this person because I don't know if she would prefer to be called something else. So I'm trying to be respectful and not just keep saying she and misgender her. But clearly, they don't understand the real issue with bringing this up during an interview, and they're trying to make politics out of it. So, in her opinion, or in this person's opinion, they're not going to get hired because the person interviewing her was conservative. It doesn't matter.
and the people that I love and what my life is like, I am not going to hide parts of myself to make you comfortable. That's not how it works.
So your goal is to make your employer and employees, coworkers uncomfortable. It's the only other option. What do you mean you don't want to make people comfortable at work? Who are you? Who do you think you are? You're an employee. All right, let's continue.
That's how conservatives want it to work, but just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean that I need to hide myself. And it was okay. Nothing crazy happened. We just both agreed this isn't going to work, and I left. But that
Yeah, see, your reason for leaving is not the same as the other person's reason for hoping you leave. Again, they're dodging an HR nightmare. You came into a job interview looking to work for somebody while making this proclamation that you have a sexual preference. I don't understand how you don't understand. You can't be that narcissistic to not understand why it would make somebody uncomfortable. To assume it's because they're conservative. Why do you think everyone needs to know who you prefer to have sex with?
is a big issue for queer people specifically. I do need to turn down positions that could be great jobs because of that and because other people are uncomfortable.
What's the big issue with queer people? I mean, obviously, that person doesn't speak for all people of that community. But what is the issue? That you want or need to be inappropriate in the workplace? So you're only going to take a job that allows inappropriate behavior? I find that to be very, very hard to believe. I'm Otino Speaks. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share. Because again, why not?